We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
The fight against anti-Semitism continues. Arizona moves to repeal its abortion ban, interest rates stay high, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. The House of Representatives voted to expand the legal definition of anti-Semitism used to enforce anti-discrimination laws at a time when anti-Jewish protests are raging at college campuses across the country. The bill overwhelmingly passed the House by a 320 to 91 vote, netting a majority of Republicans and Democrats. If passed by the Senate and signed by President Biden, the bipartisan Anti-Semitism Awareness Act would mandate that the Department of Education legally adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism when enforcing anti-discrimination rules. The vote divided the Democratic Party and was opposed by the left-wing squad, led in part by Representative Jerry Nadler, the Democrat from New York who is a Jewish progressive and the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee. Meanwhile, police removed barricades and began to detain some protesters at the pro-Hamas encampment on UCLA's campus Thursday morning. Hundreds of officers moved in on the encampment from both sides of Royce Hall after a standoff overnight as police gathered in preparation for the raid, which comes amid a nationwide movement calling on colleges and universities to divest from Israel. Local Fox affiliate KTTV reported that officers met heavy resistance as they approached the camp. Protesters attempted to resist by shining bright flashlights into the eyes of officers, KTTV reported. Several people were seen being detained by police and hauled away with their hands zip-tied behind their backs. It is unclear how many people have been detained. Elsewhere, police in New Hampshire said they made 90 arrests and took down tents at Dartmouth College, and officers in Oregon came onto the campus at Portland State University as school officials sought to end the occupation of the library that started on Monday. Arizona lawmakers took a significant step Wednesday toward blocking a Civil War-era abortion ban after state senators repealed the measure that the Arizona Supreme Court said last month could stand. The vote fell largely on party lines, with several Republican state senators breaking from the chamber's GOP majority to back repealing the near-total ban. Along with banning abortions in all situations except life-threatening medical emergencies, the 19th century law imposed prison terms for doctors and others who aid in an abortion. The U.S. and Saudi Arabia are reportedly nearing a historic security pact. The deal, a key priority for the Biden administration, could reshape the Middle East and lead to a path for Israel to enter into formal diplomatic ties with Saudi Arabia for the first time, according to a report from Bloomberg. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken met with Saudi leaders earlier this week and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu yesterday to discuss the framework of the deal, which would see Saudi Arabia recognize Israel in exchange for a defense relationship with the U.S. Israel would need to end its war in Gaza and agree to a path for Palestinian statehood. The Federal Reserve announced Wednesday it will leave interest rates unchanged as inflation continues to prove stickier than expected. However, the move also dashes hopes that the Fed will be able to start cutting rates soon and relieve consumers from sky-high borrowing costs. The market is now pricing in just one rate cut later in the year, according to the CME's FedWatch measure of future markets pricing. It started 2024 expecting at least 6 reductions, which was, quote, completely fantasy land, unquote, according to Greg McBride, chief financial analyst at Bankrate.com. That change in rate cut expectations leaves many households in a bind, he said. Certainly, from a budgetary standpoint, not only is inflation still high, but that is on top of the cumulative increase in prices over the last 3 years. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, Amazon Music, Audible, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.